What's up, Taiwan? I'm Sandy Chu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A bridge in northeastern Yilan County has opened to traffic after an old one collapsed in 2019. Sally Jensen has the story.
It has been 2.5 years since the Nanfang-ao Bridge in northeastern Taiwan collapsed, killing 6 people and injuring 12. An investigation into the disaster had found the bridge was not properly maintained. Now it's been rebuilt. At the bridge's opening ceremony, President Tsai Ing-wen said the new structure would boost the local economy, improve traffic and attract tourists.
这几年来，在大桥重建的过程中，充满了考验。除了对旧桥的拆除、新桥的设计、重建，而且还要面对我们疫情的挑战。
The reconstruction of the 800-meter-long bridge cost $28 million. Taiwan's transport ministry says it will last for 100 years. But there appears to be disagreement over who will manage the bridge and ensure it is safe.
所以当时就是才是由这个港务公司来做后续的这个维护管理。
现在还在谈可能将来我们现在港务公司接手之后呢，我们可能也会互委托请公路总局来维管。
This new bridge may have lightened the mood for many in this small fishing town, but concerns over its future safety continue to weigh large. Asnaya Zhou and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese iPhone maker Foxconn could be fined for an unauthorized investment in a Chinese chipmaker. Foxconn said on Friday it would sell its stake in China's Tsinghua Unigroup, but that's not enough to avoid penalties. Reuters is reporting that Taiwan's government is likely to fine Foxconn soon over the investment. It cited a source who said the company could face a fine of up to around $800,000. Taiwan's government can ban investments in Chinese companies on national security grounds or to protect industrial development. Japan's government released its national security strategy late last week, which labeled China as the greatest strategic challenge to security in the Indo-Pacific region. The new strategy is considered by many experts to be a major shift in Japan's defensive posture. For more on this and how it could affect security in the Taiwan Strait, Jaime Ocon spoke to John Hemmings, Senior Director of the Pacific Forum.
What can you tell us about the recent Japan and national security strategy?
In essence, Japan just released the national security strategy in December 16th by the National Security Council and approved by the cabinet. In essence, sort of showcasing a shift in Japan's nominally defense-only posture. Many countries in the region have sort of been responding to elements of the strategy, for example, long-distance strike capabilities, enhanced spending in the defense budget, in fact, a doubling from 1% to 2% over a number of years. And so it's against the backdrop of sort of the deterioration of international relations in Northeast Asia more broadly and the Indo-Pacific, that strategy is being viewed, analyzed, and criticized.
There seems to be quite a big shift this time concerning Japan's security posture. And now the government says they want to possess these sort of counter-strike and offensive capabilities. How significant is this?
Yeah, I'm somewhat sympathetic to this shift. I think there's a lot of criticism that Japan is rearming, but actually 2% is considered quite a low percent of defense spending per GDP. In fact, the NATO target of 2% that's often used as a benchmark is historically low for NATO if you think about the deterioration in international relations more broadly. And to be sure, I think rather than marking this as a sign of Japan's remilitarization, which some countries are attempting to push that narrative, really we should see it as Japan trying to strengthen deterrence. I mean, all of us have watched China take over the South China Sea, essentially building out and militarizing islands that block one of the world's largest trade routes. So in a sense, I think the Japanese national security strategy and its overall posture shift have to be viewed as a long-term response to deteriorating environment.
In terms of Taiwan and security in the Taiwan Strait, Japan has said that this is a high priority, and they've also labeled China as the biggest kind of aggressor. Does this mean that we're going to see Japan play a more active role in the region, or what changes after the strategy?
I think so. I mean, we know, all of us who deal with both countries in this field, how sensitive those types of relationships are, mill to mill, or politically. No one wants to provoke Beijing. The problem is Beijing is to some extent driving all this with its rearmament, and as I said, its sort of rhetoric about Taiwan, and the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation being also requiring unification by hook or by crook. If the PRC can stop painting itself in that corner and driving itself towards, military solution, I think Japan would prefer to maintain the status quo. But in order to have a credible deterrence, then you are going to require trilateral military coordination and cooperation. You cannot simply defend a third country without communicating directly to it. So yes, over time, I believe that, due to the PRC's actions, you may start to see, at least initially, covert and then gradually overt coordination between the three militaries.
That was reporter Jaime Ocon speaking to John Hemmings, Senior Director at the Pacific Forum. Taiwan will dissolve 6 private high schools. That comes as student numbers decline due to the country's low fertility rate. The Education Ministry will liquidate the schools, and their assets will be given to other schools or the government. Taiwan is said to have the world's lowest fertility rate by 2035. High schools and universities are already facing financial difficulties due to lack of students. Taiwan's government has approved extending a program which gives subsidies to people who purchase electric scooters. The program gives around $160 to those who want to buy an electric scooter. This program will now run until 2026. It's part of the country's efforts to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Since the program began 5 years ago, the number of electric scooters being used in Taiwan has risen from around 100,000 to well over 500,000. A renegade balloon mascot is blowing up online. The balloon's escape from a parade and around 17-kilometer journey has generated a wealth of jokes and memes. But as John Van Trees reports, for the parade's organizers, the rogue balloon could end up being anything but a laughing matter.
A great escape caught on film. This balloon float is Open Chan, a mascot for the 7-Eleven convenience store chain. It had been on display during a parade in the southern city of Kaohsiung, but in all the excitement, Open Chan got a bit carried away. It only took a gust of wind to pull the inflated mascot free from its tethers. That was the beginning of a sweeping 17-kilometer journey high above the harbor city. But what goes up must come down. The balloon was eventually found burst on the ground. This mishap, and the fact that another balloon popped on the parade route, has caused more than a few outbursts online. While many people on social media found it extremely uplifting, the incident could end up being quite deflating for the parade organizers. Open Chan's unscheduled flight took the balloon into restricted airspace around Kaohsiung's airport. If the airport decides to take legal action, the organizers may have to pay a fine of nearly $50,000 US. But for now, what will happen next over the balloon intrusion is still up in the air. Eason Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Temperatures dropped to single digits across much of Taiwan early on Monday morning. The weekend's cold snap also brought frost, ice and snow to part of the country's central mountain range. Temperatures are expected to rebound over Monday and Tuesday. But another cold front is set to arrive on Wednesday, which may last through to the weekend. But the Central Weather Bureau says the chance of a white Christmas in Taiwan, even at higher elevations, is unlikely. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of the autumn leaves on Alishan in Taiwan's southern Jiayi County. I'm Sandy Chi. Take care and see you next time.